All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our call this week. It's so nice to see your faces after a few weeks. But I just wanted, I'm excited for our call tonight because there are a few things that I kind of wanted to briefly talk about. And then the topic is something that I know as a team we've talked about for a while that we want to do. And Laura had messaged me the other day, and we're going to put this thing into action finally. So I'm really excited. But first thing is UV2 launched yesterday through Beachbody On Demand, and it was surprisingly fun. I mean, it's different than what I'm used to, obviously, because I'm a crazy person, but it's fun. It gets your heart rate up. It gets you moving. The music is good. And it's just such a great program for so many people that have probably been afraid to do any of the other programs before. And now we have this. This is great for people who maybe are really out of shape. Maybe they've never exercised before. Maybe they have no interest at all in exercising, but they want to move. Maybe, they have kids at home and they have a hard time getting their workouts in, but now they can do this with their kids. It's for people who maybe just had a baby and they're just working themselves back into moving around. People who are coming back from injuries, older, younger, whoever can do this. Leandro really breaks it down. He goes step by step. He starts with your feet, then adds the arms, and kind of just really shows you guys what to do. And I'm really happy that they made this program. It just goes to show that they listen to the feedback that they get, whether it's from customers or coaches or whoever, saying that, we're not reaching enough people. Your programs are too hard. I can't do that stuff, but I need help. And they're listening. And clearly they're doing things about it, which is why, Size came out, but that's pretty challenging too. And then Country Heat came out, which isn't as challenging, but it's still a workout. So this is kind of another step down, but for such a good reason. So definitely make sure you're sharing it. Do a live video, show little bits and pieces of it. I felt totally silly today when I did mine, but whatever, it's all good. Who cares what anyone thinks, right? And who knows who's going to see that and be like, oh my God, finally something that, I want or that I can do. So totally love it. And the FAQ, I actually didn't think to look up what that was before this, sorry. But you guys know where to find those in your online office, I hope. So just go into your coach online office, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and the FAQs are down there and you can search for it. So definitely take advantage of this. Another thing I totally love about it is the nutrition plan. I don't know if you guys heard the national wake-up call or read the little blurb that I shared. But week 1, it's a 4-week program. So the first week, you just add Shakeology in your diet. So that's it. All they're asking people to do, drink your Shakeology. Week 2, drink your shake every day, keep that habit up, but then change and eat one of these healthy breakfasts. Week 3, keep your shake, keep your breakfast, and then change your lunch. And then week 4, same as the first 3, and then change your dinner. So it's kind of gradually walking people through how to adjust their eating habits. Because for a lot of people, going from eating not even necessarily totally eating like crap, but someone who just is eating one way and then all of a sudden they're changing every single meal throughout their entire day, that can be super intimidating. And that alone can make people either not even try or quit within a couple of days because they're this is too hard. So if you gradually walk them through it, and we can even use this, in our groups, we don't necessarily have to only do that with that program. If you are working with people and they're overwhelmed or they're not ready to make these huge changes, give them a plan like this or have them look at that and follow it. There's so much we can do with that. And I think this is going to help so many people because, that the meal planning, the prepping can just overwhelm people so much that they won't even try. And I was one of those people for a very long time. So I know what that feels like. It's hard. it took me a while to wrap my head even around the containers. So, you know, thankfully I finally stopped being a brat and I tried it, but it took me a while because I was like, I don't even know if I can figure this out. And I didn't even try. So, you know, that I'm not the only one who's like that. I know, at least I hope not. So definitely a huge, huge addition to our nutrition plan library for sure. So definitely share that. Another thing, I know she's obviously not here, but did you guys see that Laura had her baby? So cute. Laura Rainham had her baby. I was shocked. I literally just saw it like 10 minutes ago. But we got a little baby. And what else do I want to share with you guys before I get into this? I think that's pretty much everything. So what I wanted to talk about was, so Laura messaged me the other day and said that she really wants to get a sneak peek going, which I totally am on board with. And I would love to try and do this. Not necessarily, like I don't want everyone to feel like they have to participate. So this is kind of like, you know, we'll still figure out who wants to be a part of it, but everyone can invite people to it basically. So, starting next week, we haven't figured out the exact days yet. We're going to host a sneak peek. And what I thought would be a good idea was to use the format that Haley uses. So I don't know if you guys remember like a month and a half or 2 months ago or so when Haley did our team call, she talked about how she's constantly like messaging people and saying like, oh my God, sorry, I was just working on like trainings for my coaches, and, or like, oh my God, sorry, I was busy, you know, making meal plans for my challengers, like ways to kind of bring it up without them asking, and then maybe sparking interest. And then if someone says like, oh, like, what are you talking about? Then she could be like, oh my God, like, let me just pop you in this sneak peek real quick and see if it's for you. Like, that's not exactly what she said, but roughly what she said. And as she was saying these things, I'm like, how the heck does she run that many sneak peeks? Because what I'm used to, and I'm sure what you guys are used to, is, you know, Candace will run like a blitz maybe once a month, if that, or maybe there'll be like a week long or like a 3-day sneak peek or something every month, but like that's it. So I was thinking to myself, how is she constantly doing these sneak peeks for people to be in? Like, who has time for that? So then I messaged her, and she was kind enough to add me to it so I could see. And basically what they do is her and 3 other coaches. So her, Colleen, Eddie, Curtis. I don't know why I just called her Eddie. This girl, Candace, and another girl, Amber, are the 4 that run a sneak peek every month and a new coach training every month. And the way they do their sneak peek is it's 3. So they open a group, and it's a 3-day sneak peek, but it stays open for the whole month. So they do it the second Monday of every month, but obviously we don't have to do it exactly how they're doing it. We can do, like, we want to do ours next week. But then I'm actually thinking we should maybe repeat it or leave it for a little extra long, because I feel like it is good to, you know, start of the month, like delete all the videos and redo them. But basically what they do is on their day 1, they each share their coach story. So they go in the group and they do a live video, and they just like introduce themselves and basically share, this is my story, you know, who they were and what their life was like before Beachbody, how Beachbody came into their lives, why they decided to coach, and then how their life has changed since they've been coaching and what coaching has done for them. So basically day 1, all 4 of them will go in and they'll do a live video with their story. Day 2, 2 of them will go live. One, the topic is what a coach is not. And then the other one is a day in the life of a coach. So basically kind of talking about what coaches aren't, because there are a lot of common misconceptions for what Beachbody coaches do, how they're scam artists, or how we like hunt people down for sales and stuff like that. Because sadly, there are coaches that do that. So a lot of people may literally have had bad experiences like that, or they just hear it through the grapevine. So we, whoever does that video will just basically talk about, this is what I commonly hear people think a Beachbody coach is, or what we do, and this is how it really is. So kind of almost like how we say sometimes it's great to do a post on your Facebook that about a common excuse that you hear people share and why that excuse doesn't apply. That's not the right wording that I wanted, but you know what I mean. Kind of like dealing with an objection up front before people can even object, if that makes more sense. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I hope you know what I mean. So that's what that is about. And then a day in the life of the coach is kind of just explaining like what a day in the life of a coach looks like. So giving people an idea of, you can spend as little as an hour a day on your business, or even less if you need to, if that's what your life allows, but you can, basically like these are the activities that you need to do, and this is ways to fit it into your day kind of thing. So, because a lot of people, will say you don't have time. So then it kind of gives you, like, we're able to talk about that as well, and, help people understand, like, you can make time. It doesn't necessarily take as much time as you think, although, if you have really big goals, then obviously that changes things. But, basically, like, this is what a day in the life of a coach looks like, and depending on what your goals are, it's more or less. And on day 3, one of them, the topic is how we make money. So they review a bunch of ways to do that. And then the last one is what now and how much to get started. So basically, explaining, what the cost is to get started. Obviously explaining the all access challenge pack, because you literally can't get anything better than that. And then what to expect moving forward. Like, we have coach trainings, and we have a coach team page where we're checking in all the time. We have team calls. You'll be supported. We share ideas. We don't hide them from people. Like, this is a great, like, we have such good teamwork, and all of those types of things. So I like that format a lot, because I think it covers a lot of reasons why people either hesitate, are afraid of, or like think that we're full of shit reasons. So it kind of just answers all of those without us needing to be asked those types of questions. Hopefully with it being live videos, maybe some people will hop on, and you can always, at the end ask if anyone has questions they can ask, or, we're going to be asking, like, if you have any questions, let me know. And then hopefully people will comment, you can answer them below. But the really cool thing about this format too, is that they do that 3 days in a row. So boom, 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 or it might even be, it doesn't necessarily have to be 3 days in a row, but, get those 3 days in, and then those videos stay for an entire month. So that is how she's constantly able to say to people, let me pop you into this sneak peek real quick and see if this is something for you, because put them in that group, the live videos are already there, and they can just look through and watch the videos as they want. And also, let's say, you pop them in halfway through the month and they're like, Jesus, there's too many videos up here. Like, I'm not watching all this, like, how people are. Then come the next month, they delete all those videos and they redo them. So the benefit of that is anyone who's been in there for however long, because this group is ongoing. So they have 1,400 people in their group right now, which is crazy. So anyone who's been in the group will start to get notifications of a new video. So someone who maybe either ignored it or put it off or watched but wasn't ready yet might start watching again. And that could spark them to be like, you know what, I'm ready now. And the other cool thing is, like, this is going to be our first time, but the more you do this, the better you get at it, the quicker you are, like, you might share things a little bit differently that might make more sense. Like this, I'm all about just taking messy action and just doing it versus, how I've always been like this. It hurts to even think about that, but like, I'm sick of, like, I can't, me and whoever else is like this, like, we can't hold ourselves back because we feel like our answers need to be perfect, or our live videos need to be like short and sweet, and like no, let's just do this. Let's give it a try, get it out there. We can always delete it and redo it next week. But as each month goes, oh my gosh, Kale! Hi!
Hi.
You're so cute. Look at your PJs.
Ninja Turtles.
Wow.
Hi, Jackie.
All right, well, she's going to bed.
I know.
Oh.
You sound
All right, I love you. Good night.
Mom, sexy sound professional.
I said
Oh,
So professional.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, sorry, I'll mute myself now.
Okay.
All right, come on, let's go.
All right, I forget what I was saying. And it's totally fine. That was a great interruption. She's adorable. But anyway, you know, as we do this, we'll get more comfortable with it. We'll get better with it. And our stories are going to change. Our reasons why, like our whys are going to change. Like our success is going to change. So like as we evolve, our sneak peeks are going to evolve. Our coach basics are going to evolve. But we just got to do it. And I told Laura too, I was like, I don't know who's going to want to, you know, take on any of these videos, who's going to want to share their story. Nobody is going to be pressured into it. Obviously, we're never like that. I'm never going to make anyone do anything they don't want to do. But even then, like as this goes on, maybe we'll have new people who come in and share their story, or other things like that. That's a great question, Laura. I'm not sure. I know in their Coach Basics training they have stuff in the files, but I actually haven't looked in the sneak peek, so I'll look and check. I'm not sure. But I personally liked those topics. I thought it was very well rounded and hits a lot of areas that people, you know, have questions about. And then obviously, if you guys think we should add other things, that's, you know, we can play around with it, but this is at least a good way to start. And then also their coach training, I really liked that format as well. It's 10 days and same thing, they run this monthly. But I'm actually honestly not sure if they redo the videos or not as often with the coach training like that. Those videos that are in there might stay in for like a month or 2 or 3 months, and then they might redo them. I was only added to that recently, so I'm not sure how they recycle those, but it's training. So in my mind, I feel like it probably doesn't need to be repeated necessarily as much, as long as the videos are in there. And they pinned a Google Doc at the top of the page that has them in the right order for anyone who, you know, comes in late, or, you know, a month or 2 down the road or whatever. You can either go through them out of order or click the Google Doc and see what order they're supposed to be in. So, but those topics were also really good. So the day 1, they talk about having a strong vision and a why. Day 2 is new beginnings, new mindset, new you. Let's build some belief, which is a great topic to talk about in Coach Basics. Day 3 is I'm a coach, now what? So what a new coach needs to focus on. Day 4 is social media part 1. And one person talks about how to share your story, and somebody else had talked about, you know, photos, self-expression in your storefront, like what your Facebook should look like and stuff like that. Day 5 is social media part 2, and the 2 topics are a posting calendar, like what to post, and then another one is posting like a boss. Day 6 is inviting and follow-ups. Day 7 is handling objections. 8 is time management. 9 is leading yourself to success and personal development, which I actually love that, because even just the title of that is kind of like helping people realize, like, you have to lead yourself no matter what anyone else shares with you or what you learn. Like, you have to be the one to do and to lead yourself, which I love. And day 10 is setting goals for what's next. And there's a diamond tracker in the files of that. There's photo examples of objections, and I'm also thinking it would be a good idea, like if some of us have these really good posts or something, we could maybe like share pictures or something for like post examples and stuff like that. But that is a good idea as well. And then let me actually read this. Hang on. Oh yes, ring the bell. Oh my God, yeah, I loved that. Hang on, let me finish reading. I got ahead of myself. Ooh. So I was thinking ring the bell. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Oh my gosh, that's okay. So Laura, I love that idea. So the ring the bell, the first time I saw that was in the Diamond Dash, where people would ring the bell when they were in a coach training and they hit Success Club or they signed a coach or like whatever, as like for celebrating that. But I love ring the bell to announce when someone joins. That's freaking genius. First taste of recognition and might get others to think, if them, why not me? Oh my God, I love that. That's amazing. Let me write that down. Hang on. That is such a good idea. So yeah, I think we should totally try this and just, I mean, even if we end up winging it, let's just freaking wing it. Like, who cares, right? Like, none of us are fake. We're all, you know, real, caring, genuine coaches. So I have no doubt that no matter what happens, like, this will not by any means be a flop or like a mistake or anything like that. Like, I know all of you guys are like in this for the right reasons. And that's why we have such an awesome team. And people are going to recognize that. By the way, you know, it's almost better in a way to obviously think of what you're going to talk about, but not overly, because then it almost will become not robotic, but you know what I mean? Like it won't sound as genuine as if you just speak from the heart. And especially, you know, with whoever's willing to share their story in the sneak peek, like you can make some bullet points if you want to make sure you touch on a certain amount of things. And I can share in more detail too. Like I can watch their videos and let you know how they did it. But like their videos were anywhere from 10 to almost 20 minutes long. So they weren't being short and sweet. Like they were, you know, pouring their hearts out. And they're still having like really awesome success. And if depending on what your story is, you may have a lot to share. So, you know, making sure we're not holding anything back and just pouring our hearts out and really helping people see that like, this isn't like, we don't have them in this sneak peek for our reasons. Like this is for them. And like our lives have changed in our own ways because somebody asked us. So, you know, I can't imagine my life without this. So like, you know, sharing that our stories and like these topics in a way to just help people realize like your life is going to change in so many amazing ways. Like you have to freaking join us. But you know what I mean? So I think that's awesome. And I'm not going to put anyone on the spot on the call. I'm not going to like say who's going to do this. So when I share the recording, or if we want to maybe do like a separate post or whatever and decide who wants to, you know, start out, or if people think it should be, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 people max for this first one, and then kind of go from there, like see how it goes. You know, it's obviously open for adjustments. So I guess we can talk about it a little bit since it's only 9. It's not too late. If anyone has any thoughts, like, you know, should we keep it to a certain amount who's sharing so it's not too many stories, or should we not really care about the story day and just have anyone who wants to share it? And then of course the other topics are, you know, specific. But if anyone has any thoughts, I'm totally open to ideas or suggestions or anything like that.
Jackie, I think, you know, on the story day, it makes sense to get as many stories as possible,
Yeah.
only because that you're just more likely to feel a connection to someone. And as long as we're just being really clear that we're all one team and, we're working together and, sharing, I think it's great to have different stories. I guess my only thought there would be not to try not to go for, if we knew we were going to have whatever, a ton of us going live, to try to keep them on the shorter side just because it can get long, that would be my only thought. But if you only had a couple of us going, then have at it, but I think the more the merrier.
And actually that's when you said that kind of made me think too, like that the more the merrier for the stories too, because like if all of us are adding people to it, like some people may only listen to, like your people who you added might only listen to your story.
Right.
You might like be like weirded out by, watching other people or something. Hopefully not, but you know what I mean? So it kind of adds the chance that the videos will be watched, basically, I think. So that is a really good idea. So then, we can definitely, I might just do a separate post, maybe even like a poll, like who is willing to share their story. And then they do it for 3 days. We could always, do it in 2 days if we wanted to, but I'm okay with keeping the 3 days. I don't really know that it matters too much. So if anyone has strong feelings about that too, definitely share that. I've seen, if we're doing the stories on one day, I think it at least needs to be 2, basically, because even if like 2 or 3 or 4 of us are sharing a story, that is a decent amount of videos for one day. So I don't want to be going crazy, but with the other, like day 2 is only 2 videos and day 3 is only 2 videos. So we could potentially do it in 2 days or keep it at the 3 days. And then again, this is going to keep up. Yeah, the 3, it sounds good because it also, those 4 topics in one day actually is kind of heavy.
Yeah. If anything, I would think if there's a way, especially since you're doing this more full time now, that on day 2 where you're talking about how do you manage your day, I think if anything, it might be good to be strategic and have 2 people go who kind of approach it differently.
That's a good point.
Somebody who is like the master of the power hour versus somebody who's like does pockets of time, right? It might be interesting to get 2 perspectives on it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'll definitely, like, if I were to do that topic, which I don't know if I would or not, it depends on who, I guess signs up for each topic, but I would definitely talk about when I was working too, because those 12-hour shifts, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was rough. Like I had to wake up early and go to bed late, and I didn't have a good system, quite honestly, but but yeah, I agree. And people who feel like, what I also might do is maybe I'll do a poll with each topic, and people can like say which topic they're willing to talk about and what they feel like is their strength. Because I think we should definitely make sure, like I personally don't think I have good time management skills. So I don't know if that's a good topic for me to even do. I'm happy to do all of it if it comes down to that, because I do have the time. So I would be more than happy to do that. But if there are other people who are willing to, take some of these topics, who feel that they're strong in them, then totally, I think that's the better way to go, because those people, I wouldn't want to constantly be saying I suck at this if I'm talking about it, because that's not exactly going to get people to want to do it. Although I could, I still could share what my life has been like and how I've found ways to fit it in, but still, anyway. Yeah, and then I'll, listen to their videos and keep taking notes to give people ideas too, if anyone cares, or we can just make up our own. It doesn't have to, go too heavy on what they're doing, but I just think they have a really good system. So I was happy that she shared it with me. Does anyone have any?
You know, I'm just thinking about it, and that whole day in the life thing, it's probably overkill. What I was just thinking about is overkill, because it's really not meant to be training. It's meant to be just an example of, like, so here's what you do, right? So
That's actually a good point. I haven't watched that video yet. Sorry, there's a bug. I haven't watched that video yet, so I'll actually watch that one, because I actually was on the same wavelength as you were for that, but maybe it isn't like that. So
yeah,
I'll
it's
definitely
probably
watch that.
better not to be like too training heavy and more like.
That's a really good point. So, and I'm curious about their how we make money one too, because I always feel like I struggle with making that make sense. So I'll definitely take like heavy notes on those for sure. And they call their group that No Boss Life, but they're all full-time coaches. So I don't know if that would be misleading. I mean, we could call it that Girl Boss Life, maybe, or something. But I actually didn't even think of what to call it. So that's a really good, I'm glad you asked that question. If anyone has any ideas, I love that it's called that No Boss Life, because that is potentially what can happen, but I guess I don't know if that would be misleading, since we are not, I don't know, unless I'm overthinking
We're all
it.
working towards that, right? So I don't think it's, crazy misleading if, even though we're not there, if that's what we're working towards,
That's true, and we can like even say that at some point, like this is what we're striving for, that no boss life, like you should hop on the train. So we totally can. I mean, I can do that. I can do that girl boss life. I'm definitely open for ideas. I didn't even think of what to call it though. So good call on bringing that up. Because sneak peek is like meh. I don't want to call it that. Group name. Okay. And then obviously if you guys feel like there are additional things that we should talk about, like they didn't do a separate video on Shakeology, but in the what now and how to get started is where Haley kind of went into, how much it costs and what you get with All Access. And then she did talk about Shakeology in that one. Not overkill, but did talk about it. Tornado warning. Oh my God. Laura, that's not cool. I'm sorry.
Where are you?
Yeah, it's just loud. Omaha. Oh my God, Omaha. That always makes me think of freaking Peyton Manning. It used to drive me nuts how many times you'd say that in a game. Sorry. Well, I hope you stay safe. Oh my gosh. Silly tornadoes. Well, yeah, and that ring the bell idea. Oh my God, I love that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I really wanted to talk about. Does anyone have anything to add or have questions or want to talk about anything else? We're a little bit earlier than normal, which is okay, obviously.
So I guess my only question would be, when are we thinking? You said you want to try to do this next week.
Oh, yeah.
And so, well.
Maybe, so I have heard that 3-day sneak peeks are good. And if you do them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it usually ends up that more people will join because a lot of people get paid on Fridays.
Interesting.
So it's from what I hear, people are more willing to join when it falls that way because they're getting paid. So they're like, yep, I'm getting paid tomorrow. Let's do this. Versus like while the excitement is high and like while it's all fresh in their minds versus maybe, not that like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday isn't a huge, it's only another day, but supposedly, and I honestly don't remember where I heard that. But so we could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just am thinking about, like, from a logistics standpoint, do we just decide on a name, set up a group, and start putting people in it so that, knowing that we can start, sharing it.
Yeah. So tomorrow I can put the group together, and then, so yeah, we should definitely decide on a name for it, either tonight or tomorrow morning, if anyone has any, thoughts on what we definitely want to call it. And then what I can do too is kind of pop in there and do a quick either live video or a post just saying, like, welcome, we're so glad you're here, like we'll be going live on these days, and I'll like do the dates. Can't wait for you to see what we have to say and for you to join us.
Perfect.
Or something. And then start inviting like crazy to it, or like sharing about it, or if you have someone that you think would be interested, say, let me invite you to the sneak peek where our videos are happening next week. Like, I'll just get you in the group and you can see, it's and then this is going to be great. Like, we'll have people to constantly be like, let me pop you in a sneak peek. Like, I'm so excited about this. Cause I feel like I'm not the only one who's just like, we want people more, excited and interested in the business. And this is such a good way to get that momentum going and to get the interest and to just, if anything, pop people in there and plant the seeds. Cause maybe now's not the time, but a month or two from now, as we keep, redoing these videos and stuff, you never know what can happen. So I'm excited. Totally excited. And then hopefully by June is when I'm thinking we should start the training. So that can be either a whole separate call or like a whole nother like post or something to talk, or, we can talk more about that later. We don't have to do that. But with the sneak peek happening next week, I think this is good. And then if we decide, because it's mid-March, right? Excuse me, May. Oh God, not March, no. I don't know why I said that. So we could either keep the videos we do next week through June, or we can redo them maybe like the second week of June or something if we want to. But we can talk about that too. But yay, I'm excited. Well, it was so good to see all of your faces. I miss you guys. And Summit is so soon. Holy crap.
No.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
Yay. All right. Well, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your night. Good luck, Laura, with that stupid storm. I'm sorry. I hope it quiets down, or that you can sleep in noise, I guess. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for joining. Bye.
See ya.